So I've been listening to Thus Spoke lately, and
Yeah.
god damn, that book is a fucking marvel.
The thing that I've really been considering is just, do I put the Übermensch into the philosophy? Because it's like, I never really thought of it in those terms, but I mean, that is sort of what the framework was always working towards anyways. Like, that's what I was always working towards. It's like the reason I'm so hell-bent on getting this out is because I, just like Nietzsche, is hell-bent on making the perfect man and working towards the Übermensch. And to me, it was a subconscious goal. It wasn't something that I was aware of. But I mean, now that I've analyzed it, I mean, I with integrating the Übermensch into my system, it changes absolutely nothing about the way I live my life. So it's like I've already integrated that idea. But now do I literally integrate it into my philosophy? Because
I would be like, just like, what necessarily do you mean by Übermensch to say that you have a certain set of ideas that could create the Übermensch? Because like even Nietzsche himself, he never explicitly says, here's how a
no,
person becomes the Übermensch.
I don't mean that my ideas alone are going to create the Übermensch. I mean that my ideas are going to increase power, which are going to increase our progress towards the Übermensch. Which is all Nietzsche would have wanted. That's all he ever wanted, was to work towards the Übermensch. That's what Thus Spoke is all about. It isn't about being the Übermensch. It's about, you need to give up your entire life towards working for the Übermensch. That's what life is about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that a human being could become the Übermensch, whether that's you or someone in your civilization that you were able to prop up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And to me, I've genuinely considered, and I considered this especially when we were on 2-1, is I don't know if it's going to be human. I mean, genuinely, like I don't know if we'll ever get to the point that we need to get to. Of course, maybe we synthesize with technology. Maybe we become half technology, half human. But I'm just as open to the idea that humans just get wiped off the face of the planet by technology, and technology becomes enlightened. Like, so the Übermensch isn't necessarily human. It's just forwards. If you think about it that way, if you think about it, it's just like metaphysics moving up. It's just like what all of infinity is doing is working forwards, and working forwards entails basically gaining power. And that's what our goal should be, is to essentially continue gaining power, continue gaining wisdom, continue to gain intelligence. And what that means is like creating God, creating the perfect AI. That's kind of what I think it entails. Is it's like what all of our effort should go into is just making the perfect thing, making God, making something which is omnipotent, making
Perfect conduit to hold God.
exactly the perfect thing to run God. That's the goal, which is a really interesting way to think about reality.
Uh-huh.
And I really wonder what Nietzsche would have to say about it. Because the more I read him, the more I'm like, this guy has a fucking metaphysic. It's just he wants to call it not a metaphysic. Like, that's all that's happening. It's a break, because it's like that's basically what my like worst trip of my life was, the one that created the thrashing. Which, by the way, I was going back and listening to some of those tapes, and dude, I was right on the fucking money months ago. I just didn't understand it, turn it into a framework back then.
Yeah.
But damn, I was really describing it quite well. Even back then. Which, well, I'll have to go back and make a video of me going over those voice notes, because that's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah.
Where should we start? Should we do it linearly?
No, I don't think so. I think we should start with. You go ahead and start with your Trinity. I can't never remember that one, so we'll go ahead and get that one out of the way.
Okay. Existence.
Huh?
Experience. An expression. We're writing it down. Just have a document full of all the vocab words that we go over. Alright, so existence is supposed to just go over the fundamental building blocks of reality, the source of reality, God, Tao, infinity, the wholeness, purity. It's without.
Hold on. I do want to say one more thing before we actually start. Which is, how dare you? I should smash your head in like a pumpkin with a sledgehammer. For not telling me about the Advaita Vedantas earlier. I've of course heard about their name in passing 10 million times. Just because of course I have, based on the content I listen to. But I always just thought they were a school of Buddhism. And I was never gonna research every single school of Buddhism because they were always brought up in talks with Buddhism, and it sounds like a big
Yeah.
name. So I just always figured they were school of Buddhism, and I wasn't gonna research every single fucking one of them. So I just missed out. I always missed out on the Advaita Vedantas, and I was listening about them today. And you're right. They're just the guys. They're the guys who got it. They're the people who I've been looking for on my entire like spiritual journey this entire time. The people who got it right. They're the people I've been looking for, and I just found them as soon as I got mine ready. You know what I mean? It's just kind of funny to be like,
Yeah.
I finally got mine down pat, and now this is the time that I'm discovering the other people who also got it. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be very
Yeah.
useful for vocabulary. I'll tell you that much. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to. I'm going to listen to every single thing I can on them and just start writing down their fucking words. Because that way,
Yeah. Yeah. I've got some cool words like Sat Chit Ananda.
not only do
That's a
they
cool word.
sound awesome, they make you sound so much smarter than everybody else whenever you can just be like, oh, yeah, have you ever heard of Satchitananda? Well, what that means, you know what I mean? That sounds so much better than being
Yeah.
like, well, okay, so a thought texture, imagine like a strawberry, right? The neurochemical, you know what I mean? Instead to just be able to
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, no, the Satchita, the Ashinta Beta Beta, you know that, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
To have a
They're like
tradition.
thought textures.
What is it?
They're like the thought textures we have. They just put those into vocabulary words.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I can use my words, the words that I've come up with. They still don't have them. Like, they still don't have words for thought textures or frameworks or anything. So I can still integrate mine into their language, but I don't need to try and explain everything anymore. I can just explain my words, and I have a basis of language to explain everything else, which is so useful.
Mhm.
But which will be so useful after I get it down. But okay, so now we will start over with your paragraph. And
All right, so existence is the infinite. It's the absolute. This is the basis of reality, that which nothing else arises first, the source of all things and which all returns to. In a storm of mental archetypes, the absolute potential of God and the Tao collapses into a strike of lightning. The bolt goes down the path of least resistance and flashes into experience, representations of patterns and rhythm of realities, predispositions to the self. The observer views the content of the thought patterns of existence in a way that allows them to best understand the world and live in it. Existence is the string from the flash of lightning. Well, from the flash of lightning comes blinding light or expression, weaving a narrative for the ego to live, survive, and find meaning in the world. This is the world of narratives and frameworks. On the march for conquest over the mind, they are ideas the ego can cling to and identify to see the world through. Experience is the finite. It's everything you have known, all that you can think of. From the sensations of the mind and body, in space through time, creates experience. To the self, it appears as 1D time, existing only in the present moment from birth until death. This is the strike of lightning and its travel through the least resistance. Through the strike is made up of one strike, made up of moments. One's life exists as a long line of moments. You are you from birth until death, a bolt, a candlestick slowly burning down, a flower sprouting from the ground. All of your beliefs, emotions, sensations, everything you've ever felt or thought about, but not as you experience them, but for how it truly is. The realm of experience is not just made up of contents of one's life, but the forces at play that cause them. The psyche is our reality, and we are the bolt of a storm in the collective unconscious where there are certain wills and narratives that reality plays out accordingly to. Living in the states of ego dissolution allows one to have experiences that go beyond this world. Expression is the finite shadow. It's the story of why we're here and what we're doing. These are the narratives and frameworks that act as a lens for us to see and experience reality through. To start, in your field of vision, expression is found in the feelings associated with wherever you are, the labels your mind is placing on everything. Broader than that, expression is why you're there, what's going on in your life, and what's going on in society. That's where that is. So in general, it's just supposed to be like
comparing that to while I was in Florida. What was the
what's that?
What was the conversation we had when we were walking around the city? What were we comparing that
It
to?
was that versus ASICS and 6.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and run back that conversation. Xazix is Xazix is the one. It's your first level. They're the same. And then you have ASICS, which is bubble realities, or essentially like our universe. It's not name for just reality or like the physical level. I mean the actual, the real, the material, The many, basically, is Azix. And then Zix is people. So how does that differ from yours?
All right, so where mine would be a bit more broader, where there to say Zix is the human, mine would instead be at that level. It would be expression, which includes the human being as a part of it, but it exists in more categories as just a metaphysical label, and it's less focused on the human being. It's more focused on the external reality that the human being is living in. And where Azix is the entirety of the universe, the entirety of the physical universe, my experience is more of the thrashing that produces the many, whereas expression is the many, and experience would be that which produces the many behind the scenes, and that looks like to us as thought textures and sensations and feelings, metaphysics itself. And then existence is just the source of everything, infinite, without quality, which exasics and existence, I would say, pretty much the same thing.
Okay, go back to the middle level.
So experience, that's like thrashing.
Yeah, what do you
Metaphysics.
mean by that? Neither one of your last two descriptions are very concrete. Like, even I don't understand them very well, much less randos.
Yeah, that was the part I was trying to got you last time. That was difficult too. It's like it's the thrashing that produces. Like, let's say someone has a thought. The Zix in this scenario is the thought that someone has, right? But the experience is what mentally occurred, what metaphysically happened for that thought to arise and be actualized, where their mind, which was full of potential, actualized that particular thought. What produced that thought? That exists on broader levels, from absolute potential of infinity, which actualizes into a particular universe. Same ratio. Where experience
I still
is
don't understand what you mean. Like, what is it? It's the thing which made the thought happen? What?
It's the thrashing that produces an actualized thing in
I
existence.
don't even know what that means. I created thrashing. I don't know what the thrashing which produces a localized thing is. Do you mean like, let me see. Is it like, yeah, I don't even, I can picture visually what that would look like.
So as the universe thrashes about, it is a universe. That is a universe. So the universe from thrashing, or from some movement of energy which produces what we call reality. Just metaphysics as a concept. The idea that the physics
sounds like
of our material world is created from something. Just metaphysics.
Yeah,
I'm just labeling that
that's,
metaphysics.
like, that's already done under existence. It's like existence is that.
No, existence is the source of everything.
What is the
Whereas
difference
experience
between
is
the source and the thing which is everything?
the source is the everything, but experience is the particular activities of it. Whereas it might be creating a particular universe, or having had someone have a thought, or making a particular mountain.
Okay, so yeah, I would say that those, like, the middle levels are absolutely the same thing then, because basically what you're saying is, I'm not saying that it is actually just bubble universes. I'm saying the same thing you're saying, which is that it's the many. It's not the one. It's the many. That's the difference. Is existence and exasics. Those are one, and then the next level down is many or difference, and then the next level down is thinking entity or jhana, in the words of the Advaita Vedantas.
All right. Yes, I think that is. Yeah.
And then, but so our last levels are still different, right? Zix and what was yours? Yours was
So Zix and expression, yeah.
expression is basically
Still
just
trying to.
saying everything that humans do. Isn't that kind of what you're trying to say? Critique that. Would that be inaccurate?
Let
And not
me
just
think about it.
humans. By
Yeah,
humans in this context, I mean just like living things. But okay, Zix. Replace humans with Zix in that context. Just say, is that basically actions of Zix? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what your bottom level is? Everything Zix
all right.
does?
Let me think. Give me a moment to meditate on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Zix, using it in the way that we both understand it to be, the Zix experiences their reality. As they walk around it, they experience it. And every single thing that goes on in their life, every thought they have, everything they touch, every single bit of it, everything that they can think of, that is included in expression, because as a finite being, us, we can't go beyond that. That's why we're here, is to experience that expression. And then, well, it's not necessarily what the human being does that's included in it, but it's the human being's life. Whereas the other layer above that is the metaphysics which create that life.
Run that back.
Okay, so expression is everything that will happen in your life. It's everything you do, but it's everything that happens to you. It's everything you can think of and feel, and
The middle.
everything that you will. Was that
Expression's the middle level, right?
expression is the bottom level?
Oh, okay. Okay, so then get the.
Right. All right. So it's the stories of our life. It's what the ego is. It's what it's designed to do, is give us a map of reality.
Just explain how it's not different. What makes it different than just difference? What is specific about this which makes it not the middle level?
Wait, the middle level.
The middle level is difference.
Yes, it's difference, but difference. I think that there's a spectrum of the process of creating difference. There's the metaphysics which creates it, and then there's the physics of it. You know, there is.
I don't know about that.
That it's implied by the name metaphysics, that there's a material world which has physics, but the metaphysics is which produces that physical world that we cannot see because we are a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're
The thrashing which produces that world.
I do not know what you are saying. I'm sure there's something there, but there's too much. In the words of the people who critique, what's his name, Chris Langan, too much jargon in a way. Like I literally don't.
I just was, for me, the confusion is like I'm just explaining the concept of metaphysics, so I don't know if there's too much jargon in that.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't put this many distinctions in metaphysics. It's pretty simple to me. You got the one, and then you got the many. It's like there you go. You got it. Yeah, there's metaphysics.
You have the one. You have the one, and then you have the many. But I think there's a difference between the creation of that mini, the process of creating it, the thrashing which produces it, and the final product.
I have no idea what any of that is. You're gonna need to explain each individual piece of that, because I don't know what any of these things are. There's no like all of that is just the many.
Yes, I agree. That's all. They're all inherently
I don't even
interconnected
see what
concepts.
the
But just
importance of making that distinction is at that point.
just like it's inherently feelable. You can note the contrast between what produced this reality, which I cannot see, but I can feel because I feel what it does, which is my life. And I understand it's a hard thing to describe, but it's just labeling more about the process of creation, just putting more labels on it for it to be completely recognized.
Continue describing what the labels mean. 'Cause I still have no clue what you're talking about at core. I need to get to that point so I can try and explain it myself.
Yes, I can.
So just continue throwing words out there.
I want to see if I have a different paragraph.
Just try explaining it in baby talk. Just like you got the one and you got the many, and this is why this isn't the many. Like mathematical talk, I suppose is what I'm saying. Like Spinozian almost. You just want to be like, this is one, this is two, and this is why they're different.
Okay, so we can agree that there's a difference between the many in whole and the many in finite, which is us, as in what I can see. I can't see every single thing in front of me, but I can only see what Trevor sees. But there is the many in itself, which is everything. So there's a difference between absolute many and many, which is watching many. Many watching many is expression. It's what I see as a part of it. But there's still that many.
I suppose at this point, I guess what I'm feeling is just like, okay, this is sort of like writing in the fact that we're made up out of quantum physics or even like just bacteria. It's like, yeah, sure, it's true. Why? Why is it in here? It's just like, it's sort of like unnecessary bloat.
It's possible. I just know that there is a feelable difference in it, and that my only purpose for writing this stuff down was writing down what I was thinking and what I felt. So I understand as far as teaching others to be different.
Regardless, the basis of these ideas are tremendous because they're mirrored in today's zig. So it's like the foundation of each of your levels is perfect. I do think that it at least needs to be tweaked down to, and there may even be something salvageable in what you're saying. It's just, if I can't understand it, God knows it's going to be extremely hard for the YouTube audience to understand it. So at the very least, we can work on the language simplification of it. But so okay, let me try and explain it back to you what I got from it because I'm still not even sure if I get it. But I think I may have something. So hold on, let me think about what I was thinking about before. Yeah, I completely and totally lost it. All right, give like okay, it's the difference between. Yeah, I need a brief summary so I can give Kickstarter what I was thinking about before.
Existence is the infinite. Experience is the metaphysics, the threshing of it. Expression is the human's life, story, or life.
The life story. So yeah, that you were saying it's like the personal experience, like almost like the bubble is kind of what you're saying there, like
the personal Zix bubble. Yes, the experience of Zix.
Okay. How is it different from Zix? I guess. Let's start from that.
So my specific in the world of expression, if you pointed out a single thing, I agree that label would be called a Zix. Zix would be a label of something in expression.
Expression is just combining every Zix. I remember us talking about this in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's how I would have put that. Is you have the one, you have the many, and then you have the combination of every single Zix. That's the simple.
Yes. So you have the the world is made up of Zix, and the story is the connection between Zix points. So from point A to point B, our life tells a story of what the sense data means. And that's expression.
That's still,
And that is the
yeah. I would maybe just go ahead and cut both of those things off of the middle and bottom level. They're good and they are definitely true. Each and every one of them is true. But I feel like just to keeping these specific topics as simple and as transmutable as possible, I think x86 is already kind of in just like the most simple form. That's like the Occam's razor of existence, of 3Ds.
I mean, to me, it almost feels like now it's back to very similar to the Trinity of Infinity, where it's like these all things are talking about the same thing, but they talk about it in a different manner. That's why it's the Trinity in the first place.
What is the Trinity of Infinity? What is it?
Before it was existence, experience, expression, and then thought, textures, something, whatever, I forget those. And then the framework, fragment.
Let's go ahead and go back to the ones you forgot, because keep in mind, this is what this is. We're dredging up everything we ever come up with. So let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever we forgot and jog our memory on that. So what are you talking about? Because I remember that vaguely as well.
I'm going to look it up. Not on Google, unfortunately, but my Google Docs.
That's thought texture difference. No, it's a different thing. Thought textures, frameworks, and fragments, or whatever the fuck we were going off of back then. Sure, we changed it.
Yeah. Hold on. There's some document on ethereal dimension, though. Huh? I go on ethereal dimension and I see zero documents.
What is it?
Oh, never mind. Thought textures, perception structures, and action structures. That was that Trinity.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and compare that one to x86.
All right. So there's thought textures. Yeah. Hold on. I apologize. Let's see which paragraph the best one. All right. I'm gonna read the 3 paragraphs that go over these. So thought textures are the individual flavors of every mental activity, the textured mind material that constitutes one's mental topography, such as emotions, dreams, memories, and moments, which lead idiosyncratic psychological.
Fuck off with this. This is garbage. I didn't want to hear this shit.
The idiosyncratic psychological signatures that are experientially distinct from one another, like the neurochemical nuance between two structures.
Okay, that's a good line. I hit people on the wrestling team with that line, but the rest of that shit is trash. Okay, and that, which one was that? What was that called?
The document?
No, the one.
It was called the one, but it was thought textures.
Yeah, it was thought textures. I thought so. Okay, and then the next level is what?
Perception structure.
What is a perception structure? It's just like a person, isn't it?
Well, kind of, yes. While a thought texture is an individual, you can have multiple simultaneously, which is a perception structure, a collection of every active thought texture. Your brain generates unique perception structures every neurosecond.
That's shit. That is blown out of the water by Zix.
Yeah, so essentially, in that scenario, the Zix would be the thought texture, and then the collection of Zix, the Zixes, would be the...
A Zix would be a perception structure. They're the same thing.
Wait, then what would be the thought texture in that example? In that scenario, just a thought texture.
Well, yeah, a thought texture would just be a thought texture.
Right. Okay. And an action structure.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay. This structure, whereas left brain dissects the undifferentiated input into pieces for interaction and expression via action structures, this structure translates the unfiltered mind material perception structures into internal external representations. Language is one medium that can be used to categorize internal intellectual textures or to communicate perception structures externally. Another expression is the apparatus of visuals. I love the words we use for